Hi there again. Welcome to the NexusMindPodcast, and I'm your host, Abiola Michael. And if this is your first time here, thank you for choosing to spend the next few minutes of your time with me. Here in the NexusMindPodcast, we talk about emotional resilience, leadership, discipline, purpose, relationships, self-awareness, and the quiet decisions that determine who we eventually become. Every episode is an invitation to take a pause, reflect, and ask better questions. Not because questions alone change our lives, but because better questions often lead to better choices. Today's conversation is about something so ordinary that most of us overlook every single day. There are no voices telling you to dream bigger, work harder, or manifest success. But life has a way of teaching us that transformation really happens because of one inspiring quote. It happens because we begin to see ourselves and our choices differently. And today's topic is all about choices. Now, I'm talking about the tiny, almost invisible choices that quietly shape our character long before they shape our future. Because whether we realize it or not, every decision is casting a vote for the person we're becoming. So wherever you're listening from, whether you're driving from after a long day, taking a quiet walk, or simply sitting with your thoughts, I hope you stay with me because today's episode might change the way you look at your own life. Now, I was at someone say something to me and he said, your life is the sum total of your choices. Now, at first, I dismissed that statement as oversimplification. Surely life is influenced by much more other than decisions. What happens or our upbringing, what about opportunities, financial circumstances, or luck? Those factors undeniably matters, right? In fact, some people begin life carrying burdens they never chose, while others receive advantages they never even earned. Yes, life is not equally distributed. Yet, over time, I came to understand a deeper truth. Although we cannot always control what happens to us, but we always play a role in who we become. And that role, my friend, is shaped by the choices we make, not once, but every single day. Honestly, character is rarely formed during extraordinary moments. Instead, it is revealed through ordinary ones. It appears in the quiet decisions nobody else has noticed. When we choose integrity over recognition, honesty despite the costs, or even discipline without applause. Character is not something we claim to possess, it is something we practice repeatedly. For a long time, I used to believe successful people were simply different. I always assumed they possessed extraordinary confidence, talents, or even discipline that others lacked. But experience had taught me otherwise. Most remarkable lives are built by ordinary people who refuse to waste ordinary moments. They simply understand something many people overlook, that every choice teaches your mind who you are. So when you consistently keep promises to yourself, your mind begins to believe it. I am someone who follows through. When you repeatedly give up halfway, your identity quietly shifts towards I never finish what I start. Now, whether we realize it or not, our identity is shaped less by what we say and more by what we consistently do. So that is why motivation alone rarely changes a person's life. Motivation may inspire us for a moment, true, but habits determine our direction. Motivation makes promises, but habits keep them. There was a season in my life when I kept waiting for the perfect conditions before taking action. I convinced myself that I needed more confidence, more money, more experience, more clarity, or simply more time. I believe that once everything finally aligned consistently, you know, everything would naturally follow through. But instead, days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and months into years. And eventually, I realized I was not waiting for the perfect opportunity. I was using perfection as an excuse to postpone action. So, that realization really forced me to confront an uncomfortable truth. And perhaps you have told yourself similar stories. You have also had similar beliefs. If so, remember this, my friend. Confidence rarely comes before action. More often, confidence grows because we take action despite uncertainty. And honestly, another dangerous misconception is believing that small choices don't matter. We tell ourselves it is only one lie, it's only one excuse. Individually, these decisions appear insignificant, right? Yes. But life does not simply record our choices, it compounds them. Repeated small choices gradually shape our identity, and identity eventually shapes our destiny. I once believed success resulted from one major breakthrough or even a single defining opportunity. But today, I see success differently. It is usually brute through countless and ordinary decisions. Choosing honesty over convenience, discipline over comfort, forgiveness over resentment, purpose over distraction, and even consistency even when no one else notices. Greatness is built on ordinary mornings, quiet routines, difficult conversations, and private victories that no one else sees. And that is why growth has always required discomfort. You know, Seeds must break through, they must break open rather before they become trees, right? And iron must endure fire before they become swords. Likewise, character develops through challenges that demands patience, humility, perseverance, and even sacrifice. So rather than saying, I can't do this, we should learn to say, I can't do this yet. Because that single word creates space for learning, it creates space for hope and improvement. To be honest, every expert was once a beginner, every confident leader once struggled with doubt, and every successful person has moments when they almost gave up. You simply never met them during those chapters of their life. So don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle or ending, my friend. Growth is personal, growth is gradual, and growth is impossible to rush. Now, let us look at this. What if our lives are not shaped by one life changing decision, but by thousands of ordinary ones made consistently over time? Think about it. The people you genuinely admire, not simply because they are successful, but because they are trustworthy, calm under pressure, disciplined when no one else is watching, kind when it's even inconvenient, and authentic even when pretending would have been easier. Honestly, those qualities did not appear overnight. No one suddenly became wise or full of integrity. These characters are developed gradually through daily decisions and choices. In the same way money grows through compound interest, character grows through repeated decision. And eventually people may look at you and say, you're so disciplined. You're incredibly resilient. Now, what they rarely see is the countless private decisions that created those qualities. Character is always built in private long before it becomes visible in public. And perhaps, as you reflect, you recognize mistakes you have made. Maybe you have wasted opportunities, abandoned dreams, or even hurt people you care about, or spent years living below your potential. If that's where you find yourself, remember this. Your past may explain your present, but it does not have to define your future. One of the greatest gifts we possess as humans is the ability to choose again. Yes, we cannot rewrite yesterday, but we can influence tomorrow through the decisions we make today. So that is the true nature of hope. Hope is not pretending the past never happened. It is believing that your next decision still belongs to you. That no matter how many wrong turns you've taken, your next action, your next step remains your choice to make. Many people expect transformation to happen overnight. They imagine waking up one morning as a completely different person. But real life is usually much quieter. It's different than that. Transformation often looks like reading a few pages instead of endlessly scrolling through social media. Sometimes it looks like making one phone call you have been avoiding. It looks like apologizing without making excuses. Sometimes it even looks like keeping your word even when nobody would notice if you broke it. It sometimes means choosing rest instead of constant burnout. Choosing truth instead of convenience. Instead of distraction, you choose to be present. And choosing gratitude instead of comparison. Now, these choices rarely make headlines, yet they possess the power to reshape lives because they are repeated consistently. Each morning presents an opportunity to ask meaningful questions. What deserves my attention today? What deserves my energy? What deserves my yes? Just as importantly, you must also ask, what deserves my no? Because every yes automatically becomes a no to something else. Every hour invested in one activity cannot be spent elsewhere, and every decision carries an opportunity cost. So before ending this conversation, it is worth taking a pause to reflect on a few important questions. Now, these questions are not questions that require immediate answers. They are questions to carry with you, questions that may continue speaking long after this conversation ends. Right? And the first question is this: what kind of person are your daily choices creating? What story are you repeatedly telling yourself that is keeping you from becoming who you could become? Tomorrow morning, before checking your phone, your emails, or notification, now just take a pause, take one deep breath, and ask yourself this: what is that one choice I can make today that my future self will thank me for it? Now, when you found it, make that choice not because it is easy or exciting, but because meaningful lives are built exactly the way one decision is taken at a time. Now, if this conversation resonates with you, do not allow it to maintain or remain merely an inspirational idea. Let it become an invitation to action. Choose one lesson from this reflection and apply it before the end of today. Transformation does not begin when we hear something meaningful. It begins when we act on what we have heard. So if you know you have someone who feels stuck, or you feel stuck, discouraged, uncertain about the direction of life, share this message with them. Sometimes a single conversation can become the beginning of a person's turning point. The deeper purpose of this discussion is not simply personal success. It's about intentional living, integrity, and continued growth. Honestly, none of us will live life perfectly, but we can choose to keep growing, We can choose to become people whose lives encourage others, not because we are flawless, but because we are willing to learn, improve, and begin again and again whenever necessary. So remember, your future is not determined by one extraordinary moment. It is shaped by the ordinary decisions you make every day. So, my friend, choose with intention, choose with courage, choose with hope. Because every decision is helping write the story of the person you're becoming. A meaningful life is rarely built through dramatic breakthroughs alone. It is built through consistent choices that align with your values, your purpose, and the future you want to create. Stay mindful, keep growing, and remember, transformation happens one choice at a time. Welcome to the Nexus Mind Podcast. Bye bye.